In the endless white expanse of the Arctic, where temperatures plummet to -50 degrees Fahrenheit and howling winds strip away all warmth, something extraordinary is happening beneath the snow. Deep within a frozen tomb of ice, a massive polar bear mother lies motionless. Her breathing has nearly stopped. Her heart beats just 8 times per minute, a rhythm so slow it would kill a human within minutes. Yet somehow, impossibly, she is creating life. This is not death. This is something far more mysterious. Scientists have discovered that polar bears, the apex predators of the frozen north, possess one of nature's most incredible superpowers, the ability to enter a state so close to death that they challenge everything we thought we knew about the limits of mammalian survival. What happens in those icy dens defies biological logic and borders on a miraculous. For decades, researchers believed they understood hibernation. Bears sleep, they survive on fat, they wake up in spring. Simple. But then they began implanting heart monitors directly into wild polar bears, and what they discovered shattered every assumption about the boundaries between life and death. The data revealed a biological phenomenon so extreme, so impossible, that it reads like science fiction. The journey begins in late autumn, when a pregnant polar bear female, heavy with cubs developing inside her, begins searching for the perfect place to build what will become her hibernation chamber. She needs to accumulate at least 441 pounds of fat, a massive energy reserve that will sustain not just her own survival, but the creation and nourishment of new life. She digs deep into a snowbank, creating a tunnel that leads to a rounded chamber just large enough for her massive frame. Some dens stretch 10 feet long and 8 feet wide, architectural marvels carved from frozen water. The snow provides perfect insulation, a frozen fortress that will become both nursery and life support system. What happens next challenges the fundamental laws of biology. As the Arctic winter tightens its grip, something extraordinary begins happening inside this pregnant female's body. Her metabolism, which normally burns through 5,000 to 8,000 calories daily, starts shutting down in ways that should be impossible. Every system in her body begins a coordinated shutdown that mimics death itself, yet maintains the delicate spark needed to nurture growing life. Her heart rate, usually a steady 46 beats per minute, begins its dramatic descent toward a rhythm that mimics the edge of death itself. 8 beats per minute, that's where her heart rate settles, a pace so slow that in humans, it would trigger immediate cardiac arrest. But the polar bear's heart doesn't just slow down, it fundamentally changes how it functions. The cardiac muscle proteins actually shift their composition, producing weaker but more efficient contractions that prevent damage from the extreme bradycardia. Her breathing becomes so shallow and infrequent that she takes only one breath every 45 seconds, sometimes longer. Researchers have recorded bears holding their breath for nearly a minute during the deepest phases of torpor. Her body temperature drops, though not as drastically as smaller hibernators. She maintains just enough heat to keep her vital organs functioning while conserving every possible calorie for the monumental task ahead. The biochemical orchestra playing inside her body is nothing short of miraculous. While her heart barely beats and her lungs barely breathe, her liver works overtime, performing chemical wizardry that defies medical understanding. It converts stored fat into glucose with such precision and efficiency that she never experiences the toxic ketoacidosis that would kill any other mammal attempting such an extreme fast. Her kidneys, meanwhile, begin the impossible task of recycling her own waste products, breaking down urea and reconstructing it into proteins that actually build muscle mass despite her catatonic state. But here's where the story becomes truly astonishing. While her body enters this death-like state, she is simultaneously creating and nurturing new life. Inside her womb, tiny cubs continue developing, completely dependent on her near-lifeless body to provide everything they need to survive. Her liver performs biochemical miracles, converting stored fat into glucose so efficiently that she avoids the toxic buildup that would kill other mammals. Her kidneys recycle waste products, turning them into proteins that preserve her muscle mass despite months without food or water. In the depths of winter, typically in December or January, when the Arctic darkness is absolute and temperatures outside her den reach bone-crushing extremes, the impossible happens. In this state that resembles death more than life, she gives birth. The cubs emerge weighing barely 2 pounds each. Tiny, pink beings no bigger than guinea pigs, blind, helpless, and covered in the thinnest layer of fur. They are among the smallest mammals born relative to their mother's size, a biological strategy that allows birth to occur during this extreme physiological state. Yet somehow, this mother who hasn't eaten, drunk water, or even urinated in months begins producing the richest milk in the mammalian world. Her mammary glands activate while her body operates at the very edge of death, producing milk that contains 33% fat, 11 times richer than human milk, rivaling the milk of marine mammals like whales and seals. She nurses them while maintaining her death-like torpor, her body performing multiple biological impossibilities simultaneously. The energy demands of producing this super-rich milk would overwhelm most mammals. Yet she accomplishes this while her heart beats only 8 times per minute. The cubs instinctively know to stay close to their mother's warm belly, where temperatures can reach 40 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than the outside air. They nurse frequently, sometimes 6 times per day, growing rapidly in this frozen cocoon. Meanwhile, their mother's body continues its impossible balancing act, converting her own muscle and bone tissue into the building blocks her cubs need to survive, all while maintaining the delicate physiological processes that keep her alive. The most mind-bending aspect of this process is the speed at which she can snap back to full alertness. Unlike true hibernators who require hours to warm up from their frozen state, a polar bear mother can go from 8 beats per minute to full maternal vigilance in mere seconds if her cubs are threatened. Her body maintains this knife-edge balance between death and life for up to 8 months. Longer than any other mammalian pregnancy. Recent research using cutting-edge implantable heart monitors has revealed the full extent of these physiological extremes. Data so shocking it initially seemed like equipment malfunction. Scientists have recorded wild polar bears whose hearts completely stopped beating for up to 48 seconds at a time during the deepest phases of torpor. Cardiac arrest episodes had occurred 73 times during a single hibernation season in one documented case. Yet each time, the heart resumed its impossibly slow rhythm as if nothing had happened. The bear's blood pressure drops so low that in any other mammal, organs would begin failing from lack of oxygen within minutes. Dr. Oyvind Toyen's groundbreaking research revealed that these cardiac pauses aren't random events. They're part of a precise biological program. The bear's hearts don't just slow down. They fundamentally restructure their electrical conduction system. The protein composition of heart muscle cells actually changes, producing a different type of contraction that can function at these extreme low frequencies without damage. It's as if evolution has equipped polar bears with a completely different cardiovascular operating system that activates only during torpor. Blood flow to peripheral tissues drops by up to 45%, yet somehow muscle tissue doesn't die. The bear's bodies enter a state where normal roles of circulation and oxygenation simply don't apply. Oxygen consumption drops to just 25% of normal summer levels, while their bodies continue performing complex metabolic processes that should require far more energy than they're consuming. What makes this survival strategy even more remarkable is its precision. The mother's body doesn't just randomly slow down. It orchestrates a symphony of biological processes that must work in perfect harmony. Her bone density doesn't decrease despite months of inactivity. Her muscles don't atrophy despite burning her own tissue for fuel. Her brain continues coordinating the complex dance of maternal care while operating on minimal energy. When spring arrives and the time comes to emerge from the den, something that can only be described as magical happens. The mother who spent months in a death-like state awakens with cubs who have grown from helpless newborns into fluffy, playful young bears ready to face the world. Her transformation is rapid and complete, a biological resurrection that happens in real time. Her metabolism roars back to life like an engine awakening from deep freeze. Her heart rate climbs back to normal levels within hours. Her body temperature stabilizes. Her digestive system reactivates after months of complete shutdown. Within hours, she transforms from a creature barely clinging to life into an alert, protective mother ready to teach her cubs the skills they'll need to survive in one of Earth's most unforgiving environments. This biological resurrection happens year after year, den after den, across the vast Arctic wilderness. Each pregnant female polar bear becomes a testament to the extraordinary lengths evolution can push the boundaries of survival. They exist in a space between life and death that no other large mammal can access, challenging our fundamental understanding of what's possible in the natural world. Their survival strategy represents millions of years of evolutionary refinement, a biological masterpiece that pushes the absolute limits of mammalian physiology. But perhaps the most humbling aspect of this story is what it reveals about the hidden miracles happening all around us in nature's most extreme environments. In the seeming emptiness of the Arctic, beneath snow that appears lifeless and barren, mothers are performing feats of survival that push the very limits of biology. They are literally dying and coming back to life over and over, generation after generation, in a cycle as old as the ice itself. Each emergence from the den represents not just survival, but triumph over the impossible. The polar bear's impossible hibernation reminds us that nature still holds secrets we're only beginning to understand, biological mysteries that challenge our most basic assumptions about life itself. In a world where we think we've mapped every mystery, these Arctic giants continue to defy explanation, living proof that the line between life and death is far more flexible than we ever imagined. Their survival strategy isn't just remarkable. It's a masterpiece of evolution that challenges everything we thought we knew about the absolute limits of mammalian endurance, and perhaps about the very nature of life itself.